Welcome world. We are here at Base Camp 1 for the 6th edition Rebelle Rally year 2021. And welcome to Base Camp 1. We are in the thick of a wind storm.
Yeah, this is where you land when you get picked up in Kansas, right? Then you just get dropped here when you've ridden the tornado out of Kansas.
It sounds accurate, Matt. Yeah, so we are on, this is Prologue Day 1. Prologue 1. So the teams are still trickling in little by little. They have been out on the course today, making their way to Base Camp 1 from the hotel yesterday.
And you can help remind our viewers, the Prologue is it's the first day of competition, but it's unscored competition. It's like a warm-up, right?
It's exactly like warm-up. It's a really important day. It's really nice for returning teams. You kind of get back in the groove, you shake the cobwebs off, remember how you communicate with your teammate, and it's a really important day for the beginning teams who've never done this before. It's really overwhelming coming into this competition, and it's nice to have people kind of walk you through it. You're even allowed to use your phone on the way to Base Camp 1. So if you need to cheat a little bit, get some Google Maps going, they're allowed to do that to get them here today.
Yeah, cheating a little bit, though we've got to remember does cheat yourself a bit, because we're going to talk about the competition format, some of the ways you would win this event, some of the things they've been doing today. But just real quick, like today, to be a winner of this event, which Rachelle Croft won in 2019, to be a winner of this event, you need to use today as a serious practice day. Full arms, full go on everything, so that you're ready to start the event on the actual first competition day, like you mean to win it, right?
Absolutely. That was always our strategy. I know there may be returning teams who take this day kind of a practice, easy day off, but we always took it very seriously. Like I said, you work out the kinks, you make sure your equipment is working correctly. It's a good day to test your systems. They had an on-time Enduro today. They had checkpoints they had to find. So it's kind of just an all systems go double check.
As you can see, we've got teams completing the day and making it here to Base Camp number 1. I think this is when it really sets in. Actually, when is the moment that it is going to set in that like you're not in a hotel anymore? Is it going to be when they're trying to put their tent up in 30 mile an hour wind?
100%. That was when it always sunk in for me, because you cannot drive your car to the camping area. They actually turn their cars into compound every night, and that is to keep it a very fair rally, so nobody can access their car once they've gotten all their stuff out of it. So it always was, that was the moment it clicked for me, when I'm pulling all that gear out of the car, the tent, the sleeping bags. Your navigator is pulling out all the equipment she needs to plot those checkpoints, and you're huffing it all the way across camp, setting up your tents, and you're looking around and you're like, yep, we're the only ones here to do this, and we got to get a job done.
And I'm sleeping in the bag I'm carrying under my arm.
Absolutely.
I don't even have the shelter of my vehicle. And then whatever I was going to say just left. It got blown right out of my mind.
It happens. All right.
We'll just talk to the screen there. So you see the lineup of cars, each at the end of the day. They pull in, they get to the check-in, they check in, and the final checkpoint of the day is a green checkpoint. So there are points available. That's another reason you want to be to Base Camp on time, is so you get the points. So let's talk about the competition format. How does the Rebelle work? How do we score these teams through the day? We've got a couple slides for that for you.
Yep, I think they've got a video pulling up here that you can check that out for yourself.
The Rebelle. What it is it's a long distance competition that covers 8 days. 7 days of scored competition, but 1 full day of prologue. So it's not a race for speed. It's really about a test of navigation and driving accuracy and precision. They're given about 16 paper maps, 2-foot by 3-foot maps, and road books, and they have to navigate to over 100 checkpoints over the next 8 days. What we have that's unique is the scoring system that we worked a long time on, but we took some really cool elements of things that we love in rally and racing and adventure and kind of fused it in to a hybrid. And it's really a tough challenge.
Each day, it's set up that you collect certain checkpoints on that day. The checkpoints are rated green, blue, and black. Easy, medium, and hard. And it's a little bit backwards from what you think. The easy ones actually have the most points. And in between those green checkpoints are blue and black checkpoints, which they may or may not acquire. they choose which checkpoints to go to, depending on their skill level, depending on their day, depending on their vehicle.
Well, the course is kept secret from the competitors until literally, when they receive their instructions. To describe the course is really remote. We're out in the middle of nowhere camping and seeing sights and things that you ordinarily wouldn't get to see.
The interesting part about this event is that everybody has an equal chance. It's designed to be fair. A lot of these women, they're not off-road racers, they're not off-road drivers. They come from all different walks of life, and they all have an equal shot.
It's way harder than people would think, but it's designed that whether you're a seasoned pro or you're a beginner can really excel at. They walk away with a lot of tools in their toolkit if they want to go do other rallies, other races, or hopefully come back to test their skills again at the Rebelle.
What a cool video, Rachelle. Do you feel like that does an accurate job of describing the competition?
Yeah, I absolutely would say so. And I remember Emily talking about it a lot as if you're a skier or a mountain biker, you kind of are familiar with that level of checkpoints. So you've got your greens, your blues, then your black diamonds. Your greens are going to be your easiest checkpoints. Blues, intermediate, black diamonds are not marked at all. So we will get into more of that in a little bit. But yeah, it's a great video.
The piece of the video I loved the most was, it was like, these are not off-road drivers. These are not professional drivers. There's a professional driver zooming right by base camp down the road. I can see right there. No, they're not professional drivers. They're folks that just wanted a new challenge, wanted something new to grab onto and learn about. And I'll tell you, there's a lot to learn when you're trying to figure out how to navigate yourself around in the middle of nowhere with a compass and a map and just looking at the shape and profile of some mountains to figure out where you should go to find a checkpoint. But we've got a few different ways that we travel around the course. So there are the map and compass style, and there's the Enduro style, and we have a couple slides here we'll go through and chat about Enduro.
All right, so we've got your on-time Enduro and an on-route Enduro, and these are the two Enduro challenges that the Rebelle Rally uses. Your on-time, I think, is the hardest. Maybe one of the hardest things out of this entire competition. And
I was curious, you use a stopwatch in the car, right?
We do. We actually have about 2 or 3 stopwatches because we had one quit on us at the very end of an Enduro when we really needed those full 5 points. But Taylor is a whiz at a math magician. Yeah, there you go. She was really good at it.
So it's not a terribly complex formula of multiplying your time and the distance you've been going and to figure out when to show up. But essentially on the on-time Enduro, you're told how fast you need to average. And you don't know when the checkpoint is going to be. You come over a crest and suddenly there's a sign and there's a person on the side of the road writing down the time of day you cross that sign. And later we have some B-roll actually from today of that. So we'll talk about on-time Enduro a little bit more. So tell us about the on-route Enduro.
Yeah, your on-route Enduro is they basically hand you a road book in the morning with turn-by-turn instructions on where you need to go. So it'll say, hey, you're going to go 5.3 kilometers, and then you're going to turn left or west or at this specific feature that you see. You'll then make that turn and continue on down the road. And it's really used to get the teams through the course.
Yeah, so we're in different BLM districts and different state districts that we've mentioned before, so we do have to have a way sometimes to just move the event down course, and the route Enduros are used for that. And would you say it's really important to have a very accurate odometer for these things?
Absolutely. What we did find out our first year was that those road books can sometimes even be a little off. So even if your odometer is very accurate, maybe that road book is like 0.1 kilometer off or 0.2. So you're constantly like, is that the bush that they were talking about that I need to turn right at? But yeah, a lot of teams here use a TerraTrip or a Monet rally computer, and that actually has a sensor attached to either the wheel or the drivetrain, which counts the rotations to give you a very accurate reading.
Little magnet. We use that in performance rallying, a magnet next to a little pickup, and almost like an ABS sensor for a wheel or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then we've got on our map and compass challenges, we've got checkpoints that we go and get, and let's talk about those.
All right. So as we mentioned before, you've got green, blue, and black diamonds. The greens are going to be the easiest checkpoints. They're also worth the most amount of points. So which I always really loved. Because even if you're a beginner and having a horrible day, you can still come out scoring 80 to 100 points.
I think it's a brilliant plan as well, and I was part of a lot of the original discussions of this, since my wife is chief of scoring and chief of writing the rule book, and I thought it was a really clever design as well. So the point differences don't look that dissimilar from a team that's winning beside it's a new team that's just gotten the greens and a few blues, but in the black diamonds that are the hardest are worth the fewest points. But if you don't go get those points, there's no other way to get them.
Absolutely. So those blue checkpoints can either be a blue flag, or they may be a blue pole or kind of stake in the ground. And if you don't know exactly where you are and where you're going, you will drive by that blue pole hundreds of times and drive yourself crazy.
I found one
Speaking
once.
from experience.
Yeah, I found one once. And when I found it, it was at like a little mining shack in the middle of Nevada somewhere. And I was like, nobody's going to find this. And then I hid my truck and hid around the back with our camera and stuff. And then sure enough, Rebelle started showing up and clicking their tracker right at that little blue pole in the middle of a tiny dot in the backwoods of Nevada.
It's pretty amazing. So that brings us to the black diamond checkpoints. These are the hardest to find because they're not marked. There's no marking whatsoever. So teams have a choice. They can go for these or not. They are worth, like Matthew said, the least amount of points, but these top teams are usually separated by only a 1 or 2 point margin. So they'll get there, they click their tracker where they think it's going to be, and hope for the best that they got that black diamond. If they are without...
Now tell us about the radiuses, right?
Yeah, so they actually give you a radius, which is kind of, if you can imagine a big target on the ground, a big bullseye target, and each ring is worth a certain amount of points. The closer you are to the bullseye, the more points you get. Now, in the beginning stages of the competition, they're a little more generous with that radius. Whereas later on in the week, they're going to make that circle tighter.
The
and
radius
tighter.
To get maximum points is
Yes.
getting tighter and
Yes.
tighter and tighter, right?
And if you're out of that radius and click your tracker, you actually get docked 10 points. You lose 10 points.
The key piece, though, and we're going to talk a lot more about this later, is the key piece I don't want to forget to put in to talk about later, is if you're a team and you're completely lost, when you key your tracker tells you where you are, right?
Absolutely.
So it might be a swap for points. If you click it and you know you're going to get docked a few points, but it tells you where you are, that might allow you to then nail that checkpoint and offset the point deficit of the penalty.
You know, we'd have to check with Chrissy on that. I can't remember if you can go back and re-click. I know that was a topic of conversation last year.
We
We'll
are
have
going
to ask Chrissy about that.
We're going to interview Chrissy eventually here. Not today, it turns out.
Yeah. But you are right. It will tell you where you are. And so the reason you get docked those 10 points is to keep teams from pushing their trackers, saying they're going for a black, but really they were lost and just need to find out where they are. So I thought it was a really fair choice to do that.
All right, so today's prologue, like we've said, teams left from the start line. They had a couple map and compass checkpoints. They also had an on-time enduro checkpoint. I had the famous Maddie B from last year, if you were paying attention last season, an award-winning videographer with me today, out shooting some B-roll. Here's a bit of what we saw. We're going to tell you about it. Here's some teams during the on-time enduro, I believe. That's checkpoint number 1 there with Josh and his Subaru sitting there. Hopefully you're going to get to know a bit of the crew and people that are manning these different checkpoints and keeping up with the cards and the check-ins. And we might have mentioned green checkpoints are the only ones that are manned, that someone is there, and that can help us know how the competitors are doing, pass the competitors any important information about the course if it's changed midday for some emergency we didn't anticipate or whatnot.
Yep. There you've got a blue flag there.
And how close to that blue flag do you usually stand to signal your tracker?
You know, I like to be very accurate, so I put my tracker right on the pole when I click that button.
Got it. Yeah.
I don't think you have to, but you know, I didn't want to chance it.
Sure.
So they're writing down, let's see, Heather there's at the time control.
That's Heather Lewis there. She is starting the on time enduro. You can see the timing control flag there. So when she's waving, that's their minute. Their minute basically begins, and now everyone down course and the whole scoring crew knows the minute that car started on. And then each time control you drive by, they're going to write down the time of day, an accurate time of day of when you rolled by that time control, and we're going to be able to score. Now, Tell me about the window for full points in this situation.
Yep. So at each of those time controls, you need to pass that time control within a certain second. So you might have at 1 minute and 30 seconds, they need to be at this time control. And they'll give you a 5 to 10 second window on that to get full points. I believe each one is worth 5. If you're, let's say, 1 minute 40 seconds or 1 minute 50 seconds, the amount of points goes down from there. So that's where that math comes in, is when you're in the car and you're averaging the speed I need to go to hit that time control needs to be 30 miles per hour, and you hit there, your navigator realizes that you are ahead of that or you are behind that. You need to make those adjustments on the fly.
Now, when you were competing, some teams would admittedly say that their on-time enduro performance is a little lackluster, but they make up for it in scoring with map and compass. What was your situation for you in the car? Were you guys good at on-time enduros?
We were, and I cannot take any credit for that. That was all my navigator, Taylor Polly. She made sure we hit those on-time enduros pretty accurately.
Cool. And a lot of that, is it a teamwork? I know it's a teamwork piece because you've got to drive at the speed the navigator's insisting that you drive at.
Absolutely. And that's part of that on-time enduro shakedown for Prologue. It's really nice to get your communication down because your navigator is there saying, hey, you need to keep it at 20 miles per hour. Can you speed up? Can you slow down? And that's where having a really smooth throttle, you're just keeping that throttle as steady as you can, no matter, and making smart decisions with your car really helps out. It's full blown on raining and wind here, so the camera crew is running around. I wish you guys could see this. This is a pretty epic team that is running around out here.
Yeah, the blanket fairy just came by and covered my cold legs. Some people call him Nathan, but thank you, Nathan.
All right, we got some more B-roll there. That's their on-time enduro. You can see there's a good system. You cross off those timing controls as you go. Team saw a little bit of dirt today, not a lot. I did see the cars were a little dusty coming in.
Yeah, I drove a bit of that. It got into that kind of really loamy sand that's just super dusty. And I think teams are wondering, well, it's like, if this gets deeper, I'm going to want some less tire pressure. So I saw several teams out checking their tire pressure. It's funny how that works. All you need really is one team to be out wondering about their tires, and then every other team is like, should I be wondering about my tires? Hey, let's look at our tires.
It's so true. And this rally is such a mental game. I think that's the name of the game here, is you need to be really mentally strong to get through this rally.
We're just on the screen there seeing Evan marking a time control there. That was the first time control, and you can see how he's using his clock there to write the time down that the car passed by, and we'll use that later. So all of that will get translated over into the scoring, and then what you see online for the scoring will get updated after those spreadsheets are processed. By the way, we have a digital way that we're doing those times as well. So we're going to compare the paper version back to the digital version for accuracy.
Awesome.
Wow, these massive vistas, these huge views, cool looking dust, and maybe rain and windstorms. It's all part of being in the desert.
You know, I jinxed myself because I've brought a raincoat to the Rebelle every single year.
All right.
Just now need it.
Let's throw it a commercial.
Hi, I'm Justin from Wagan Tech, a company that's been in the Bay Area of California for over 37 years. As an automotive lifestyle company, we provide products that give you power, comfort, and convenience for the road ahead. Power means having a hot cup of coffee no matter where you are. Comfort is enjoying your trip. Convenience is having the tools you need when you need it. With Wagan Tech, you'll always be road ready.
At Total Chaos, we believe in pushing everything to the limits and testing everything in our arsenal. We design our equipment to perform in brutal environments and some of the harshest off-road terrain. And because of that, we have been trusted to pre-run every mile of the Rebelle Rally for the last 6 years. Welcome to the chaos.
this place tells a story through the color and through these formations that are completely unexpected. I started racing almost 2 decades ago, and the color of the desert Southwest is like nowhere else I've seen. It's so unbelievable. It's unforgettable.
All right, if you're just now joining us, my name is Rachelle Croft. We are here for the 6th year of the Rebelle Rally. We are here today, Prologue Base Camp 1, and I have with me one of the new teams for this year. This is Team 152. What are your guys' names?
My name's Samantha Barber.
Becky Brophy.
Samantha and Becky. You go by Sam, correct?
Yeah.
All right. So, you guys are new this year.
Yes.
How's it going so far? Were you expecting this?
Wasn't expecting quite this, but it's good.
Awesome. And
yeah, the weather has been the biggest challenge so far, but yeah, today went really great. I think we did as well or better than we expected.
That is a good thing to have happen on Prologue. So what are you ladies driving this year?
We're driving a Toyota Sequoia TRD Pro.
Okay, is that bone stock?
It is not. It is not bone stock. Yep.
Have you made any modifications to that?
So we put skid plates on the fuel tank and the transfer case, and then we've got some light bars around the top, and then we got some bigger, better off-road tires. But that's all we've done to it.
That's incredible. That's a big rig to be wheeling around out here. I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. So are you ladies work for Toyota, is that correct?
Yes, we both work in the production engineering division, so we're engineers on the manufacturing side.
That is amazing. And did they know about the Rebelle Rally, or how did you two get to where you are today?
They did not. So I heard about it from a friend early 2020, and I followed it through last year. And then I knew I had to at least try. And so I asked Becky to partner with me, and we took it to our executives, asking to sponsor us to be in this event.
That's it. That's awesome. Way to go. So the Rebelle Rally is made up of a team, as you can see here. There's a driver and a navigator. Are you two sticking with those roles, or are you switching back and forth?
We're sticking. I'll be navigating and Becky will be driving.
Okay. So have you had any experience doing either of these roles before here?
So we've done a few trainings with the Rebelle, starting back in April, and then we did a couple more in like July, and then a couple weeks ago we were out in the sand dunes. But before this, we have a old 97 4Runner that we bought a couple of years ago. So we've been playing around in, off-roading space a little bit, but I've never done any kind of off-roading competition, and had never done any training prior to getting ready for this event.
I love that. How about you?
So navigation, no, I have not. I did get to be a part of the Toyota team that took a Tundra to Baja 1000 back in 2014. So I was in the third seat, the riding mechanic. So I wasn't driver or navigator. So these are new to me.
That's incredible. That's what I love most about the Rebelle, is it's for anybody. And we mean anybody. If you're a woman, 18 or older, you can do this rally.
Yeah.
And I love hearing these stories about women who have not done anything like this before. That is how I started. And you find yourself out here, you meet amazing women. It's going to be a great experience. So for the rest of the rally, what are your goals? Are you looking to really compete? Are you looking to have fun?
I think we're gonna have to go day by day. Just do our best every day, because we're new to this. We don't know what we don't know. We're just gonna have to take it out there, give it our best every day.
I love that attitude. Awesome. Well, we wish you all the best. We will all be following you, and everyone out there watching, this is again Team 152, the Toyota Wayfinders. Thanks for being here, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. All right, we're gonna cut to commercial now, and when we get back, we'll have Matt back in the chair.
Describing the Rebelle in one word, I would have to say empowering.
Daniel, this is a hard question. Yeah, if I had to describe the Rebelle in one word, I would say adventure. Yeah, if I had to describe the Rebelle in one word, I would say challenge. Adventure challenge. Adventure challenge.
Fun? Awesome. Life-changing. for me would be integrity.
She's gonna come up with like $1 million word. I'm gonna be like, cool.
Please don't fall backwards. Like you've stressed me out on a couple of occasions now.
Okay.
I have a word. I mean, it's not super spectacular, but the word is extraordinary because it's not just something that's, it's extra. It's so much, I mean, it's extraordinary.
Nah, that's easy. One word that sums up the Rebelle is challenge.
Awesome. That's the Rebelle Rally in one word. Awesome.
If I could describe the Rebelle in one word, it would be encouraging.
Persistence, especially Emily's, to get this done, and for everybody to be willing to get out here took some real bravery, I think. It wasn't the easiest year to make this happen and for teams to get out here, so I like that people forged forward and did this.
Wow.
Tell me a little bit about that.
It's a 3-letter word. Starts with a W, ends with a W, there's an O in the middle. It's a word typically used as an exclamation for surprise, wonderment, sometimes used for excitement or otherwise an impressed sort of a feeling.
Here at Base Camp 1 is where you actually, so you've known you're going to have to give away your cell phones. But here's where it really happens, right?
This is when the rubber meets the road. Yeah. So it was funny because I saw all these teams today. They'll pull in right before base camp and do a final farewell on their phones if they had service. Some of them didn't have service today. Do a final farewell because as soon as you check in and cross that finish line, you're sealing that puppy up.
Got it. And you mentioned to me, I believe, that or you still have the technology in the car with you the whole rally, don't you?
You do.
Okay. So in the event that things go horribly wrong for you and you maybe happen to have a signal, if you have to break into that bag, it's actually really an emergency backup option. And to be completely honest, I think it's also easier for the rest of us to not deal with everybody's personal stuff.
Yeah, we didn't
keep your stuff. Just don't use it.
The rally doesn't want that responsibility. That's 104 phones to keep track of.
Yeah, for sure. So saying goodbye to your technology, though, you'd pull over, you'd say goodbye to your family. For anybody who doesn't know Rachelle Croft very well, she and her husband, Clay, have been doing off-roading and making videos about it with X Overland for 10, 11 years now. They have 3 sons, so she's got a lot of family she wants to say goodbye to. She did last year and the other couple times she competed. But when you're able to say goodbye and seal that phone up and get your focus to one thing, I'd say there's probably a lot of like peace in that, right?
There's a lot of peace. And as any mom, you love your kids, you love your family, but man, doing these rallies just really lights that fire in me and fills me up. And being able to shut that off, I call it my mom brain. I can turn off the mom brain for 8 days. I know my kids are fine. I love them. They love that I'm out here doing this. They always cheer me on most of the time. It's a really good feeling. And inevitably, it never fails that on Prologue, I would get a call every time, almost to base camp, from the school or a doctor or an orthodontist saying, hey, your kid this or your kid that, or who's picking your kid up from school. And I'm in the middle of trying to calibrate a terror trip.
Call her dad. Who do you think you're calling here? Call her dad. He deals with this stuff.
Yep. But they always survive, and it's always better when we're done.
That's one of my favorite things remembering about competition is that single brain, single-mindedness that occurs when you're putting your all into something. All the BS is gone, all the distractions are kind of taken away, and you can just give everything in your full presence and focus to that. It's a beautiful thing, and I think that's one of the cool things about competing maybe people don't really take in when they consider coming and driving around in the desert with us for 8 days.
I think so. And there's, there you go. There's some B-roll there of girls hauling their luggage around. We've got a few more as we've been sitting here. A few more cars have been rolling into camp, starting to set up. At least the wind has died down a little bit, so they may have a little easier time setting up those tents.
Let's check out some B-roll of our beautiful base camp. Beautiful blowing base camp.
Everything looks better in the wind, Matt.
There is the finish arch. I don't believe the finish arch is standing anymore.
No, it definitely is not. I helped lay on that to get that down before it blew away. But hey, it's part of the rally. You know, Emily always says the staff has their own rally. And that is
and we
apparent
do
on day one.
100%, we do. We see some clouds moving over there, the big general area. There, that open bit of the tent, there are lots of chickens right there on a very hot grill that are being prepared for dinner tonight.
Yeah, that is one thing that is amazing in this rally is these women eat incredibly well. So for those who don't know, we have a amazing chef, Drew Deckman, comes with his team, and he's been here every single year to cook for these ladies.
Did you know Drew Deckman has cooked for presidents?
No.
Yeah, he's cooked for presidents. So what you're looking at the screen right now are these flower array solar panels that I don't maybe even know the proper language for, but this is Renewable Innovations. They're here powering our base camp. They have enough power not only to charge the battery bank inside that box, but also be powering everything live out here. And I went and chatted with those guys. I super nerd out on this stuff, on this whole off-grid battery solar backup deal. I super nerd out on it. It looks like we're on the moon right there, doesn't it?
Those are our, that's my home away from home. That's the shift pod. So the media actually gets to stay in those. They're pretty nifty. I'm excited to see how they do.
Now that reflectivity, does it keep it cool inside when it's a hot day?
It's supposed to, yeah. Keep it cool. And then at night, there's actually a very thin layer of insulation that keeps them warm.
Oh, nice.
There's a top-down view. Love those tables sitting outside there. That's one of the best things about base camp is you get to hang out with all these women. You've turned in your phones. So you have to talk to people. You can't be staring at your phone.
Yeah.
Zoning out.
And totally. And part of the base camp setup you're seeing there, and some of the really cool things you're going to see inside the tents at different times in this broadcast or other broadcasts are done by Stephanie. She's a special piece of this organization. She handles all the way everything, the look and feel of all of our base camps. And those are just really fun for the competitors, and they feel special. And I was going to bring up, you know, we talk about parc ferme. The vehicles get parked away from where the teams sleep. And so no team can be like, I don't know, buggering around in their vehicle, working on something all night or whatever. You're kind of like forced to be in community with your other competitors. And there's something special, I'd say, about that.
Yeah, I really love the format. And if you are if you're really in it for the win, you can always go to bed early, which is what I always did. 8 o'clock, I was in that bed.
Just acknowledging us in the real world, in our current moment. The wind is kind of going away. The sun is looking at us.
You just jinxed it, Matt.
I think we just made it. Look, did we make it through the tumult of the weather there? I don't know.
All right. Well, it's been an adventure. I think Prologue for me, as every year, as you asked before, it is when it clicks that we are on the rally. We are definitely on the rally.
We're in the dirt.
We're in the
I got to tell you, being at the Lake Las Vegas Westin where we were, I felt severely underdressed to be there. I was ready to just go live in the dirt environment, and it feels like a home that we're out here in the field with our friends and folks we recognize and crew, and just getting our kind of own personal program put together.
Yeah. All right. So for those of you out there watching, you can follow us on social media at Rebelle Rally. That's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. As well, you can follow us on the website, rebellerally.com/live. And you can go there, watch live shows as they're happening. If you're subscribed on YouTube, you'll get those notifications when we go live. We don't know. We try to do a very good job at sticking to that schedule. But as you can see on days like today, things happen. So you want to be subscribed so you get those notifications.
And I think we've said this already. This is going to be a bit of a tape delay. We're shooting this, and then we're going to have someone drive down the road to a place we have signal enough to shoot it up into the atmosphere and then get it to you folks. But like Rachelle said, if you can type Rebelle, if you can spell Rebelle Rally, put a .com on it, get to our website. There's a link for live right there on the front of the website, and a link in all the ways you can watch us. And please do interact with us if you like. Find a way to make comments, put them up there. We've got a social media team keeping up with all this. We'd love to know what your questions are, and we'll do our best to get a clear answer for you.
One question I'm sure a lot of people have is, are your loved ones okay? The answer is yes. They are okay. They are figuring out their problems. They're problem solving. They're learning how to work together. They got their tents set up in mock winds and rain. And all I hear right now is laughing coming from the base camp tent. So
speaking of, we've got a video about being a rebel. Let's check it
awesome.
out.
I am a daughter.
I am a sister.
I am a mother. I am a friend.
I am independent.
I am a woman.
I am a journalist.
I am a CEO.
I am not afraid. I am a wife.
I am a wife.
I am a veteran.
I am an engineer.
I am an athlete.
I am strong.
I am in the driver's
I am
seat.
in the driver's
I am
seat.
in the driver's seat.
I'm a rebel.
All right, welcome back. This is the 6th edition of the Rebelle Rally. My name is Rachelle Croft, one of your co-hosts, and we are live, kind of live-ish, from Base Camp 1 of Prologue from the Rebelle. So I am here with returning team, the Benzies. That's all I call you. That's all anybody calls you is the Benzies. And remind everybody, if you could introduce yourselves, how you're related, which is amazing, and what year this is for you.
So I'm Christine Benzie. It is our 4th year, and we are related. I am a mother of my daughter, Emily. So that is been our team situation the whole 4 years.
That's incredible. So how did you two ladies get into this?
So I was at work, perhaps surfing the internet, and saw an article about Emily Miller and how she had started the Rebelle Rally. And I saw the off-road, the camping, the geocaching nature of it. And those were things that our family had done growing up. And so I said, this is what my daughter and I need to do. And I was so thankful that it was 6 months from then and not had just happened like the week before. So we signed up immediately.
That's amazing. And how old are you?
So I am 25. The first time I competed in 2018, I was 22. So not the youngest person to ever compete, but that year and many years after, I was the youngest for a while. So
that's incredible.
Yeah.
And remind me, I can't remember, do you guys switch roles or do you stay driver navigator?
We are pretty much as much driver navigator as you can be. Mom is incredible at her job. I'm not going to pretend that I can do her job. And I feel a little bit more confident in the driver's seat, and done it for a couple of years, so I feel good there.
Awesome. And what vehicle have you ladies competed in every year?
Yeah, so the last 3 years we were actually in my 2018 Jeep JK, which is a Willys. It was a little two-door, so everyone called us Baby Jeep, which is cute. But this year we're actually with Jeep, and we are driving a 4xe 2021. So it is the Jeep Hybrid, which has been super fun. Today we are kind of testing out the electric versus the gas capabilities, and it's lovely. I mean, I love my car too, but it's fun to drive something new.
That's awesome. So Matt and I have been talking a lot to the audience about Prologue and how that works. We interviewed a new team, but you guys are here team year 4, and you podiumed last year, correct?
Yes.
Because I was with you.
Yeah, you were there.
Congratulations. That was amazing.
Thank you.
And so how did you guys use Prologue today?
I would say today was kind of like a re-warm up. I mean, Mom, she's done a lot of practice warm up. She likes to look at past maps and tracking and see what we could improve on and do better on. I think for me, it was getting back into the rhythm. Before coming to the Prologue or to the rally, I've only driven this particular vehicle for maybe 3 hours on the highway. So for me, I was like, let's get back into it. For me, that was a warm up, but what do you think?
Yeah, it was getting back into the groove, because looking at the maps, getting your eyes to remember what it's like to look at a map and look for the really small lines that are roads and not washes, and just getting back into the groove. And we felt really good. We felt like we came just off last year and went right into the Prologue, and we were the second team back to base camp, which has never happened for us. We usually are the last teams because we're slow, but we're working on our cadence, and this was our chance to practice that. So it was a great day.
That's amazing. So do you guys think there's, I know for me, I know what my answer is, but I want to hear your answer. Have you seen improvement in yourselves over the years at the Rebelle? And just if you can expand on that a little bit. I'm trying to educate the viewers on kind of what your first year looks like compared to where you are now.
Well, it's extremely different. So on our first year, our first day, we were really happy with ourselves because we were rookies, of course, and we were 4th on day 1. That was the kiss of death. On day 2, we made 5 major errors, and we were last place. And it was very humbling. And from that moment on, those mistakes have really helped us know what you're not supposed to do and guided us in what we do. And we have improved every year.
I would sure say you have.
Thank you. Yeah, leaps and bounds, I would say. I mean, especially, figuring out our roles too has been kind of a big thing. So I've improved on my driving, Mom has improved on her navigating, but also kind of trying to toe the line between can I help you versus I don't want to infringe on your job. So first year I was like, there's a wall, you navigate, I drive, and now I'll take bearings. On the Enduro, I do timing, and I am a little bit more involved with like, all right, let's read some topo and see how things are going. So I think trying to balance that out has been different, and so far we've improved in our overall standings after the rally each year. So hopefully that's working for us.
Awesome. So on the screen here, we've got your beautiful Jeep there. Do you guys want to talk about it at all? I see your names on the doors. You're in the Max Tracks Contingency Challenge, which is awesome.
Which conveniently are very color coordinated. We didn't do it on purpose, but they're blue and gray, so that's kind of fun. But
it's still a women's rally. We love to talk about colors.
Absolutely.
It's important.
Absolutely. So like I mentioned before, I have the 2018 Jeep JK, and my mom has been looking for a new car for a while and was looking at a Rubicon for a while. And then when the electric one, the hybrid, came out, she was like, oh, this is a great opportunity. So maybe you can speak to that, jumping on that, but she's beautiful.
Yeah, and we wanted, not that there's any low capability with the Willys, but we wanted to be able to go a little faster with a little better suspension. And so the Rubicon provides that additional capability out on the terrain for the rally.
Awesome. So you are team number 177. Can you tell people, are you going for the win this year?
Well, we like to improve every year. Okay, so that leaves 2 spots. So
that's awesome.
Say do the math, but yeah, that would be wonderful. But there are so many great competitors this year. We're happy with whoever is on the podium because they're all wonderful competitors and people, and we're just happy.
That's awesome. And I want to say that is one of the best things about you too, is you really embody the spirit of the Rebelle. I really think, and what Emily has tried to create here with amazing teams like you, even though you're going for the top, your answer and how you describe women, and I've seen you out there. I see how much you help people. You always have smiles on your faces. Maybe not big smiles on a rough day, but they're still smiles. So it's a joy. It has been such a joy to compete with you ladies, and I'm so excited to watch you this year.
Oh, thank you. So we wanted to comment on you. We actually use you as an example of how to be better. And working on our cadence was what we learned from you. Watching you, how you move through the checkpoints really with an amazing cadence. And that's what we worked on today.
Awesome.
Was that, because clearly it worked well for you.
Awesome. Well, we're all so excited to follow you ladies. So you are team 177. Do you have a team name or just the Benzies?
So our team name is Jeep Thrills to go along with the vehicle that we are in. And yeah, the Benzies is a common one. Benz. I'm Baby Benz, apparently. That's been going around, so that works too.
Awesome. And are you on social media? Can people follow you and your progress?
We have, I'm at Benz_and_snap, Benz and Snap, like Legally Blonde. And that's where I've been posting most of our content. So
awesome. Yeah. So folks out there watching, again, this is team, I just call them the Benzies. I'm sorry, it's just stuck.
It works.
And
we like it.
You're going to want to keep an eye on these 2 ladies because they're incredible competitors, and we're so happy to have you back. So thank you for chatting with us.
Thank you so much, Rachelle.
Absolutely. All right. So we've got some B-roll from yesterday just to remind you folks where this all started back in Las Vegas. And let's see where we are now, because those cars look a lot dirtier than they did yesterday.
Story. Welcome to
Awesome. So we were just looking at a little bit of B-roll yesterday from the dam inspection, the dam technical inspection, brought to you by the Hoover Dam.
Sorry, you got that. You got that
finally
pun
got
in
it
there
in.
finally. Well done,
we were
Matt.
trying to fit
well
that
done.
pun in yesterday. Here it was. So we're looking at a Subaru there on the finish line as they're making it in here at the end of the Prologue today. And it's turned beautiful out here. If you've been watching for a little while, we're not getting blown out of our chairs anymore. I see a little bit of sun out here. So let's talk about your interview with the Benzies. I'm so jealous. I like interviewing the Benzies. They're so cool.
They're amazing competitors, and you're seeing there on the screen, few more teams coming in.
There's April.
I'm waving back. They
Oh,
can't
I
see
didn't.
me.
Is April co-drive? Is April navigating? That's April's
She is. So
forerunner. I
that's a
thought she
sister
was
team.
driving. Oh, right.
Yeah, we have quite a few mother-daughter and sister teams this year, which is, I think, really awesome.
And we have two teams that are mothers and daughters. Mothers in one and daughters in the other.
No way.
Yeah, Karen and Dana.
That's right.
Right? And
Yes,
Johanna
the
and Susie.
Hohens, Karen and Dana, who are 100% Rebels. They have competed in every single Rebelle rally. They have had the same teammate every rally.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, 6 in a row. And then their daughters also compete. They're a fabulous
and
team.
they've done 3 or 4
Yes.
also. Very cool.
Yep. Few more little more B-roll. Those trucks there, you're seeing they're getting a little more dirty. That's the way we like them. Sign of a good time.
Yeah, and then not many scratches or anything on these trucks yet today. You know, no bushes really. It was just a lot of kind of a leisurely drive and a navigational wake-up challenge here today.
You're seeing them. They're all stacked up there. So as soon as they pull into Prologue, they actually draw a number with their start time for tomorrow.
I forgot. We almost left that out, didn't we?
We did.
Their performance today on the Prologue is scored, but not kept. The score is tallied and used for the purpose of the order of leaving tomorrow. Now tell me, did you like to leave first thing in the morning?
I did. Well, no.
Okay.
I like to leave. So you start at 7. First team goes off the line at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
And then every 2 minutes, another team leaves. So what we really liked was about 7:30, 7:45 start time. Because in the morning, you wake up at 5 a.m., you need to get your breakfast. You need to get your sheet with all of your checkpoints for that day. Your navigator needs to sit down and plot those checkpoints. And on a day when we're transiting, you are also packing up everything, getting it in your car, getting everything ready for your day. So having to be first off the line, you also need to be there 15 minutes before your start time. So then you're there at 6:45. And it's just it's a big rush. There's a lot going on. You'll see girls just running all over camp.
It's a rip, so you're more likely to make a mistake in the plotting, and you feel rushed.
You just leave more frenzied and rushed. It's not a easy transition to your day. So sometimes when that happens, we would pull off. If we weren't starting on a timed enduro, we would even pull off and just kind of take a reset. If there was anything we missed, we can do that.
Got it.
It just helps your day out a little bit.
Now help me out understanding the start position and how the start position is organized. Look at her. She's stoked.
That is awesome. They're amazing. They're competing in the only Lexus in this rally this year. They are in a GX.
That's a solid looking GX. I love
It's
the
pretty
upfit
fun.
on that ride. It's awesome. I checked it out pretty thoroughly yesterday at Tech Inspection.
Yeah, and they are a new team, Team 130. They are pretty awesome. I'm excited to hear more of their story.
Same here. So back to the order you start in other days. How is that determined as the rally progresses?
You know, as far as I know, they haven't changed it this year, but moving through the rally, as soon as you come to base camp every night, you actually draw a number, and it'll be a number 1 through 52 this year.
Okay.
And that is your time of when you start. So you might draw number 19, 20, 1, and you calculate that. It'll have the start time under that number.
And you know that going into the night, so you can prepare yourself. If you're traveling to a new base camp the next day, you could be prepared to do that.
Absolutely. And they do that to keep it very fair, because there's a lot of rallies that only give that advantage of starting earlier or later to the top, like, let's say 10 or 15 teams. And Emily really wanted to not have that be the system. So everyone has a fair shot. Everyone has to draw that number themselves. There's no discrepancies. That is what it is.
No question about how that works.
No.
Well, being around Chrissy, who's been in rallying forever, courtesy of her parents, Mike and Paula, who are at home working on the scoring and the behind the scenes, another behind the scenes team making all this stuff happen. They're They go out of their way to make sure it's fair. And Chrissy's really clear growing up. When her dad was doing scoring at rallies, she never got special treatment. It was always as fair as it could be made, and that's a really an important brand quality here for the Rebelle.
It's very important, and all of this really comes into play. So tomorrow is day one, stage one of the rally. So tomorrow is scored, and the top teams know that every point counts. So tomorrow is when it all is going to begin. This is when being fair it's really important.
Really important. I get it. And then so in 2019, when you did day one, did you have a performance on day one and look at each other and be like, we're going to win this thing? Is that how you were feeling at the end of day one, the year you won?
The end of day one, we were both feeling pretty good. And I told Taylor going into it that, hey, if we actually are serious about wanting to do well in this rally, we have to start with day one, that very first checkpoint and that very first day.
Sure.
We can't leave anything on the table. It starts now.
Got it.
And that was our strategy. And so we, as competitors, you get your score the next morning.
Okay.
So when you pull into base camp, you may have an idea of how you did. You may not. You won't know completely until they post those scores the next morning.
Aha.
So the teams know when those scores are posted. It's between 6 and 7 a.m. And that was one of the just biggest surprises of my life, to walk over there. And I asked Taylor because she saw it. She couldn't help herself. And I said, how'd we do? And she's like, I think we did pretty good. You should go look.
You should go look. You look at the sheet and get your own giggle out of it.
It was great.
There we see Porsche coming across the line. I think we've got 3 Porsche Cayennes competing this year. We'll go over our vehicle tally of different manufacturers tomorrow's cast. But I think we have 10 different manufacturers involved this year, and that's just such a cool bragging point for us as the longest off-road rally event in the U.S. that happens to be for women.
Yeah. So what you saw there, I'll speak to that yellow tracker. You saw her hand out the window there. When you pull into base camp at night, you are greeted at the finish line. You actually need to click in, check into base camp. That is a mistake we made one year, because that's an easy 10 points. And if you are late, you do not get those 10 points. It's like a free 10 points. So you click in, they hand the tracker to whoever's working that finish line, and they turn that tracker off. Then in the morning, it gets turned back on, and you go on your day.
And there you go. Well, if you would like to follow along with the points as they are clicked in the field, I just want to confirm you're seeing nearly live timing through an interaction or an app we have. Our yellow brick tracking interface it's an app called YB Races. If you look that app up, you can install the app YB Races. Then you need to it'll say add race. You need to click add race, search for Rebelle. You'll see Rebelle Rally 2021. And you can follow that on there. You can see the different color little icons of the different teams. You can zoom in and out. You can see checkpoints, but the teams cannot see those checkpoints because they don't have the data. So literally, you could be watching your friends or family there on course, jumping up and down saying, turn right, it's right, you're right beside it. But if they don't see it, they don't see it. So it's fun kind of behind the scenes interaction you as fans can have watching the teams and then seeing what kind of score they get there. And it's instantaneous pretty much. So YB Races, add Rebelle Rally 21, and then each day, and click around in there or around the bottom of the screen. I think there's a globe and there's some different things that shows you the order. You can look at a global interaction and see where all the teams are, or you can pick just your team and look at where your team is. And let's remind them why teams might be stopped and how long they might be stopped in one place and how it's not a problem.
Absolutely. You're going to start seeing this tomorrow. Teams are going to be stopped along the road a lot more tomorrow. They're doing math, they're looking at headings, they're getting their bearings, and that takes time to figure out where you are. We are also in the base camp has never been here before, am I correct in that?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a new area, so even returning Rebelles aren't familiar with these features. So it's going to take some time. They got to stop, they got to check those features out.
Well, for those of you, like we've been talking about, following along at home, let's go jam by our socials and mention those again so you know how to keep up with us, how to interact with us at Rebelle Rally there on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It's Rebelle. It's not Rebel. There's one L in Rebel. It's a different word. Rebelle Rally. If you can spell that, add a .com on the end of it, and you'll get to our website, and you'll see a link right there for the live. And with the live, there's a way to, actually it's with YouTube. If you subscribe to the channel, you'll get notifications when we are going to be going live. We have plans to go live in the morning and evening pretty much of every day tomorrow forward. Some of those we have to tape and then drive literally down the road some miles to get it to upload with a good enough service. So we've got the schedule here. From stage 1 start line tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. It's Saturday tomorrow? I've already lost track.
I have no idea what day it is. Apparently it's Saturday. That'll be a really fun one because this is, as we said, this is the first day it's going to be scored. There's going to be a lot of energy. It's only day 1, so teams aren't super tired yet. You're going to see that around day 3, 4 when they start getting a little groggy and maybe not as energetic in the mornings. But tomorrow there'll be a lot of energy, lots of horns honking. It is really fun to see.
For sure.
Experience.
Yeah, as you could see some of our rookie teams out there jumping up and down, waving at the drone and such. Tomorrow morning, it will be a little bit of a tape delay. It's going to be broadcast 9 to 10. We actually will be shooting it from the start line around 7. So be sure to join us and check in. And tomorrow night's finish line, we're going to cover that as well. I think it'll also be a little tape delay. It doesn't really matter to you. It's nearly live, a slight delay. But please do check out, and then we'll see how stage 1 has gone for these teams.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward. I'm going to hang out with your wife tomorrow.
Okay.
And just watch the competition. I can't wait to see what teams are doing, the strategy they have. And everybody out there, you'll be able to notice that. Pay attention to those teams that are high scores tomorrow and that are going for those black checkpoints. There's going to be different routes they might take. You're going to want to pay attention because those are the teams that are in it to win it.
And we're going to squeeze in an interview with Chrissy tomorrow to talk about some of the X routes. You'll see maybe different gatherings of blue and black checkpoints with 52 teams. You know, it's important to us that the teams they're not in the same place at the same time. So there's several routes that may be going on. So teams can't follow each other and expect a good result because they're often not going to the same checkpoint at the same time anyway. And we don't even know. Very few people actually even have the information of which route a team may be on. And luckily, we often don't know where the checkpoints are either when we're out on course.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I think that about does it for us here.
Yeah. Thanks, Rachelle.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Matt.
braving the weather out here. This has been just one to remember.
It's just another day in Montana, Matt.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
At Total Chaos, we believe in pushing everything to the limits and testing everything in our arsenal. We design our equipment to perform in brutal environments and some of the harshest off-road terrain. And because of that, we have been trusted to pre-run every mile of the Rebelle Rally for the last 6 years. Welcome to the chaos.
This place tells a story through the color and through these formations that are completely unexpected. I started racing almost 2 decades ago, and the color of the desert Southwest is like nowhere else I've seen. It's so unbelievable. It's unforgettable.